Drew, how are you?
I'm very well.
Right, how can I help you, mate?
So I've got a few questions for you today.
Yeah.
I've always dreamed of sort of owning my own business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering where I am now, working for Action Coach. How do I take those steps to own my own business?
Don't do it ever. No. Okay, so look, there's a couple of things to focus on in regards to running your own business.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is you can't have a business unless you can find customers. So learning how to sell is really important. Also identifying what you want to do. Naturally, finance comes through passion, but you've also got to understand that you can actually get money from what you love doing. Like, if you love sleeping, it's going to be difficult for you to monetize that. So understanding, okay, so what are the key things that I want to do in business? You might come up with 3 or 4 different things. What are the monetizing ways of monetizing that? What does that path look like? And scoping that out. Learning how to sell, learning how to market, and learning how to be good with people.
Yeah.
Because if you're not good with people, you can't scale. If you can't scale, you've only ever got a job.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't sell, you'll never have a business. And if you can't market, you've never got anybody to sell to. So there are 3 skills that you need to get good at.
Okay.
If you want your business to do well, the first thing you need to do is to put a plan together.
Yeah.
Not short term, long term, because business is not about a year, 2 years, a 3-year job. It's about foreverness. Whether you're going to be involved with it or not doesn't matter, but theoretically your business should last forever.
Yeah.
If it's a good business, it will do. So, what does it look like in 20 years? Your starting point is 0, no money down, for instance, all time. What are you building to in 20 years' time? What would that look like? Would it be a multi-million-pound business? Would you have sold it? Would you have empowered X amount of people? Would you have changed the industry?
Yeah.
Being really clear on that, which is the difficult part to do, but the most important thing, because that's going to guide every decision that you make forever.
Yeah.
So the clearer that you can get on that, the better path you lead. It's like where you recently went to New York on holiday, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so if you didn't know how to get there, how long would it have taken to get there?
Quite a while.
Well, you probably never got there
Yeah.
at all, would you? Right, so the first thing is working out the destination,
Yeah.
then working out the route, then following the path.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But monetising your passion is probably where to start, and focusing on those 3 skills: sales, marketing and people.
Fantastic.
You're quite good with people though.
Um,
Go work on the
fantastic.
sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Work on the sales
That's
and
true.
marketing.
So that brings me on to another one of the questions I had.
Yeah.
So, you always say as a rule of thumb, if you presented with an opportunity in business, go for it and figure
Yeah.
out later.
Yeah.
How do I tell a good opportunity from a bad opportunity? Because there must be traps out there when you go into
That's
business.
such a great question. A lot of it comes down to gut, right? So, for me, a good opportunity is something that it's got to be win-win.
Okay.
So I know that I can win through the opportunity, but I also know they can win through it as well. If it seems as though I've got too much upside, there's probably a flaw in it somewhere.
Okay.
And if it seems as though they've got too much upside, I'll be doing a lot of work to make them a lot of money. So it has to be a win-win opportunity. So the longer that you do stuff, the more that you go on your gut. Don't get me wrong, I've made some bad calls, but again, that's given me experience to know that, okay, so if it seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
So trusted people, your inner circles, are normally the ones that present good opportunities.
Okay. Yeah.
Not the random person walking up to you in the street saying, do you want to make £1 million this year? Because you're only ever going to make them £1 million. It's never going to be you. So yeah, your circles will tend to come up with things like that.
Oh, fantastic.
But you deciding it's a good idea is half the battle.
Yeah.
Because you've got to give it the time that it deserves to make it a good idea. But yeah, if a good opportunity presents itself, if you do the maths and it's a good win-win, just say yeah and work out how to do it later every single time.
Well, you speak to loads of business owners
I do.
all the time. What is a sort of common trap that they fall into? I mean, you speak to business owners that have no time at all.
Yeah.
And you work to get them more time.
Yeah.
So, if I'm going into business, what should I avoid doing? What are the traps?
Okay, so, people naturally recruit people that are inferior to them because they do price-based recruiting. And also there's normally a bit of egotism on there, not necessarily knowing that there is, right? So they want to be the head of the pack. So they people tend to recruit people that are naturally not as good as them for less money.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the money element, but you've got to hire people that you go, they've got a skill that I haven't got. They've got something that I don't know anything about. I need to hire them in my business. Is number one. So hiring good people. Number two is, we spoke about monetizing your passion. That doesn't mean that you should deliver on that.
Okay.
So let's say your passion is photography, right? You might start off as the salesperson, marketing person, finance person, photographer, and business owner.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in time, you just want to be the business owner,
Yeah.
not the business owner and the photographer, because it's going to be difficult for you to do both.
Yeah.
So in order to find somebody's time, it's understanding that your passion, or whatever you decided to go into business to, is not necessarily the thing that you should be doing. Like, I often use mechanics and hairdressers as a good example, because the majority of mechanics start a garage, right? And what they do is they fix cars all day.
Yeah.
And then wonder why they're only getting paid the same as what they were when they were just being a mechanic. That's because they're doing a mechanic's job.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, their job would be to hire a better mechanic than they are, which is a big risk to start off with, because it's hiring somebody with money they probably haven't got, they might have to borrow. So they can be the business owner, driving sales, driving strategy, driving process. So they can hire 2 or 3 better mechanics than them.
Yeah.
So their business delivers a better service than what they could ever do. Their hairdresser, always cutting hair, complaining that they only get paid what they did when they were working for another salon, that's because they're cutting hair. Their job is to find somebody that cuts hair better than them,
Yeah.
so they can run the business. So yeah, monetize your passion is number one, but also understanding how to replicate yourself quickly. Stop yourself doing stupid stuff quick, learn by other people's mistakes. Like, saving somebody time isn't a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's naturally a really easy thing to do, because you can't actually manage somebody's time. It's a fallacy. Time is a continuous thing. You can't slow it down, you can't speed it up, it's just going to continue to tick. What you can do is manage somebody's tasks, so what they do with the time that they've got. So things like default diaries, and actually auditing somebody's time and making them aware that, you know, you're spending 40 hours a week cutting people's hair. What's the likelihood of you opening 10 salons? It's unlikely, okay? So where can we cut that from 40 to 20, hiring somebody at 200 quid a week? You've got your life back now for 200 quid a week.
Yeah.
What can you do with that 20 hours? I could do that, and that's where we get people's time back.
Excellent.
Good question, though.
But that makes perfect sense. Last question is: has there been a challenge in your sort of journey to where you are now? What's the biggest challenge you faced, and how did you overcome it?
There's challenges every day.
Yeah.
Every day is a challenge, and if you're not challenged, you're not growing.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're doing something that you are not challenged, you're naturally going to stagnate as a person.
Yeah.
Scale is always the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Have I had one major issue with scale? I don't necessarily think so, but I'll tell you what my biggest challenge that I've ever had to overcome in business is getting to grips with the fact that not everybody has to like me.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
You know, early on, that was a really big drive for me. If everybody liked me, I thought I was doing a good job, and naturally you're not, because you tend to be nice to people. So there's like a scale, and I was taught this, that the first thing that people want is to be liked, but really what we want is respect. You know, if I employed, let's say, 30 people, and all those 30 people liked me, but they didn't respect me, the level of production and productivity from those people is going to be fairly low. The next level up is respected. So if those 30 people respect me, they're going to produce more, they're going to earn more, they're going to be happier. And it's me understanding that's okay, that respect is naturally better than like. But where we all want to be is to be loved and respected.
Yeah.
That's where we all want to be. But I'm okay knowing that I've changed your life, whether you like me or not. And I think that was just naturally a grown-up thing. I still consider myself to be fairly young. And I think that came with age. Some people would say wisdom. Being okay that not everybody will like me, and that's all right. And saying things to people that I know they need to hear, despite what they might think of me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, if it makes sense for somebody to move on, let them know. I think it makes sense for you to cut your wings. Another one is letting good people go. Is a big one for me. So I have a rule with all my staff, which is, I don't want to hear if you're engaged, so you love what you do. And if you don't, I want you to leave, but for a better job. I really care about that, right? I don't like to see people leave a business and either downgrade or do nothing. That upsets me.
Yeah.
If somebody comes to my office and says, John, here's my resignation, I'll be leaving in a month. Oh, by the way, I've got a job double my salary. I'll give them a big hug.
Yeah.
And I'll be so happy for them because they've progressed, they've moved forward. And I think that's everybody's job as an employer. We take big risks and stuff like that, but at the same time, our employees are the ones that really make it all happen. So to see somebody progress in their life, I love to see people achieve their personal goals, but also commercially move on to something bigger and better. That was a challenge early on because I wanted to keep people.
Yeah.
And it's like you don't stay in a bad relationship. You don't try and cling on. If there's bigger and better out there for someone, clip their wings and let them go. So those are, I would say, are my two biggest things I've had to overcome. Knowing that it's okay for somebody to move on and being that support person. And it might be difficult for a lot of people to get their head around that one, but it's an important one for me. And the second one, it's okay not to be liked by everybody.
Okay.
I want to be loved and respected, but I want to help people more than them going home thinking, oh, John's really a nice guy. I do want them going home thinking, God, John challenged me today. That thing that he said to me it's ticking over, and I know I need to deal with. I'd much sooner somebody go home with that because I've influenced their decisions versus going, yeah, he's a really nice guy, isn't he? So yeah, but I think that came with age.
Fantastic.
Good question, like that.
Thanks, John. Thanks for speaking to me.
No problems. Enjoyed it. What did you get from that?
I got that sort of going into business has to be something you're passionate about, but also don't concentrate too much on what your ego might want. You have to think the bigger picture.
Good.
Delegate someone who's just as good as you and can take on a role. So,
Good man, Andrew. Good to talk to you today.
Good to talk to you.
That's a wrap.